Hello everyone. Welcome to the video. Thanks so much for 500 subs. You guys are really the best. I'm currently working on a confession series along with an IwaOi one-shot, so be on the lookout of those. Also, sorry in advance for the bad grammar. With that, let's get on with the video. Pretending to get beat up challenge part 1. Featuring TsukiYama, BokuAka, KyouHaba, SakuAtsu, SemiShira. Tell me what ships you want me to do next in the comments. Challenge description: after Yachi and Kyoko put on your makeup that looks like bruises and all that jazz, see how your boyfriend reacts to you getting beat up. TsukiYama. Ugh, this makeup feels weird. After meeting with Yachi and Kyoko, Yamaguchi begins to walk to Tsukishima's house, where they planned a study date. Little does the blocker know, stuff is about to go down. Standing in front of the door, Yamaguchi took a long breath. Showtime. The pinch server put on his hoodie, the bruises hidden behind the fabric. Here we go. Yamaguchi stepped into the house, shutting the door quietly behind him. Placing his bag on the kitchen counter, he began to search for his boyfriend. Ah, Tsuki? Tsukishima poked his head out of the room, his face immediately lighting up as he saw Yamaguchi. Tsuki was never the social type, but he always felt comfortable around yams. Yamaguchi gave Tsuki his classic bright smile and the bloker's heart melted into a million pieces. Hey, Tadashi. Sorry I'm late. Yamaguchi's face twisted uncomfortably, quickly looking down at his bag, and the taller boy narrowed his eyes at the odd behavior. Never mind. What was that? Yamaguchi looked up nervously. What was what? You're stuttering, Yamaguchi. Yamaguchi didn't stutter as much as he used to when he was younger, so Tsuki was quite concerned as to why he was stuttering now. Oh, well, are you okay? The taller boy slowly began to approach the smaller one. Without knowing it, Yamaguchi began backing up as he watched his boyfriend come closer. What's going on, Yamaguchi? Yamaguchi averted his gaze away from Tsukishima, who was now right in front of him. Tsuki could feel Yamaguchi's slow breaths on his face. Tsuki, it's not nothing. Don't give me that crap. Tsuki intertwined his fingers with Yamaguchi's. You can tell me anything, Tadashi. Yamaguchi looked down, and Tsuki pouted. Tadashi, please look at me. After a couple moments, Yamaguchi finally looks up. Tsukishima then pulled the hood of the pinch server's jacket down, finally revealing the bruise on his cheeks. Tsukishima's eyes widened and he stumbled backwards, barely being able to regain his balance. Yamaguchi looked guilty at his boyfriend. Tsuki Yamaguchi, who? No, Tsuki Tadashi. Who did this? I'm fine. Please just give me a name and consider it done, yams. Yamaguchi gulped. I can believe I let this happen. Tsukishima's voice was shaky. I'm sorry. Okay, this has gone on long enough. No, Tsuki, it's not what you think. Yamaguchi pulled his boyfriend into a large hug, stroking his back. It's just a challenge. Please don't be mad at me. Silence filled the room, but none of them pulled away from the hug. Are you mad, Tsuki? If you are, then. So you're okay. Yamaguchi looked up at Tsuki and placed a hand on his cheek. I'm fine, Tsuki. Look. Yamaguchi took his other hand and rubbed it on the bruise, and Tsukishima saw how the color blurred on his cheek. A single tear slipped down the bloker's cheek, landing on one of Yamaguchi's fingers. Tadashi, I'm happy you're safe. So, you're not mad? Tsuki kissed Yamaguchi's forehead in response, and Yamaguchi knew the answer. They stood there for a couple of minutes, just enjoying each other's embrace, until finally Yamaguchi pulled away. Study date? Yeah, let's do it. I love you, Tsuki. Not as much as I love you. BokuAka. There is no good way this could really end. Either Bakuto could go into a flying rage and threaten to beat someone up. Or he might break down and cry. Or maybe both. Akashi was at his house, waiting for Bakuto to arrive. Them, Kuru, and Kenma were all meeting up to have a double date. Akashi was dressed up nicely, but it was all covered up by one of Bakuto's worn-out jackets. The jacket covered the sides of the setter's face, and if he pulled the hood down enough, it could cover the purple makeup on his forehead. This is not gonna end well. Akashi was snapped into reality when he heard the doorbell ring. After taking a moment to silently pray, Akashi made his way towards the door and opened it. Not a moment after the door was open was Akashi swept into a huge hug from his boyfriend. Akashi. Bakuto quickly put Akashi down before planting kisses on Akashi's face. My boyfriend is too sweet, I missed you. Bakuto-san, you saw me 2 hours ago. That's a long time, you know. Haha. Akashi clutched the top of the hood, and he knew how weird he looked doing it. Trying to make sure Bakuto didn't notice, he quickly turned away to grab his boyfriend some food. Using his one free hand, he opened his fridge. Do you want anything to drink, Bakuto-san? Water please. All right. Trying to do things with one hand was more difficult than Akashi thought it would be. As he reached for the pitcher of water, his fingers fumbled with it and he just barely was able to catch it before it hit the floor. Unfortunately, it still made a loud noise when Akashi caught it, quickly catching the ace's attention. Akashi, are you okay? I'm fine, Bakuto-san. It was just the water. Bakuto watched his boyfriend with an odd expression as Akashi placed the pitcher on the counter, pulled out a cup, and slowly poured the water. Akashi could have finished the task way earlier if he had gotten to use both hands. Here you go, my star. Akashi sat right next to Bakuto, who was sitting on the couch. Still having one hand pulling down on the hood, Akashi held out the cup to his boyfriend. Thank you, Akashi. By the not-so-energetic tone, Akashi knew that Bakuto had clued into the fact that something was wrong. I'm actually the tiniest bit curious of how this is gonna play out. How are you today, my world? Bakuto reached his hand to remove the hood and pet Akashi's hair, but the setter quickly grabbed the hand and held it softly in both of his own. Great, thanks for asking. How are you? Bakuto stared at Akashi with wide eyes. And that's when it hit the setter. He had removed the hand pulling on the hood of the jacket, so now the bruise on his forehead was visible. Keiji? What is that? Bakuto pointed to what Akashi could only assume was the bruise. Oh crap, why didn't I think of an excuse in advance? Tripped on a stair and hit my head. Although Akashi was always good at thinking on his feet, Bakuto still caught the 1 second of hesitation. Keiji, I love you. Which is exactly how I know you're lying to me. Bakuto-san. Akashi pulled his hoodie down, revealing the small bruises on the side of his cheeks. Bakuto stood up after seeing the marks and his lip was trembling. I'm sorry, Akashi. Why are you sorry? I can't protect you. I'm sorry. Bakuto sat on the ground next to Akashi, his eyes squeezed shut. The ace grabbed both of Akashi's hands and placed them over his own eyes. The setter's heart shattered when he could feel his hands getting wet. Bakuto-san, look at me. Akashi stood up from the couch and knelt next to Bakuto, still holding his hands the whole time. Wiping the ace's cheek, the younger boy laid his forehead onto the older one's. I love you, Kyo. You are kind, caring, generous, funny, and you are the best boyfriend in the world. Akashi, I'm not perfect. No, you're not. But you're perfect for me. Bakuto let out a shaky breath. Boo, but your far face. Your beautiful face. Look. Akashi dipped his finger into the water cup and rubbed it over his cheek. After a moment, the purple spot was gone. What, Boo, but it was a stupid challenge. I'm so sorry, my star. It's okay, Keiji. I just love you so much. My perfect Akashi. And I love you too. My perfect Bakuto-san. KyouHaba. Okay, let's hide all the expensive stuff. IwaOi was having KyouHaba over for dinner and he knew that once KyouHaba found out he got beat up, he was gonna fly into a rage. This looks like it cost a lot of money. In his hands were candlesticks that had holders made of pure gold, and after a moment of hesitation, IwaOi hid them in a nearby drawer. Alright, any glass around here? A hard knock sounded at the door and IwaOi jolted back in surprise. Smoothing out his jacket, he pulled the hood over his head, making sure the hood covered the sides of the face. KyouHaba took a breath before turning the doorknob. Hi, Kyo. Hey. KyouHaba's hands were placed behind his back, and he was blushing like crazy. KyouHaba raised an eyebrow at his nervousness. You look nice. So do you. Placing his hands in front of him, KyouHaba handed KyouHaba flowers. You remembered roses were my favorite. Yeah, I did. And what about it? Nothing. KyouHaba looks KyouHaba up and down before walking in. It's like 95 degrees outside. Why are you wearing a jacket? It's just kinda cold in here. Sure. KyouHaba stood nervously around the kitchen counter. The spiker never knew what to do during this time, whether he should offer to make dinner or just sit down. Haha, sit down, KyouHaba. Okay. KyouHaba pulled out a wooden chair and propped himself on it. Seriously, how are you wearing a jacket in this weather? He's not gonna let it go, is he? I don't know, I'll just turn up the heater so you can take off the jacket. Why does the jacket matter to you so much? KyouHaba turned red and huffed. Well, it's covering your face for me. The last part came out in a small whisper, but KyouHaba still heard it. As KyouHaba continued to tease the spiker about the comment, KyouHaba stood up and turned on the heater, despite already being baked in the weather. Coming up from behind, KyouHaba pulled down KyouHaba's hood and the setter silently panicked. KyouHaba turned to look at his boyfriend, and when he did, the spiker's fist quickly clenched and he looked furious. Not at KyouHaba, of course. Prepare for rage tantrum in 3, 2, 1. What the hell is on your face? My eyes, my nose, my shigeru, I'm not screwing around, I know. Did you? KyouHaba's nose flared. Did you get beat up? KyouHaba looked away from KyouHaba and the spiker gave out a breathless laugh in disbelief. Wow. He doesn't seem too who was it? I'll rip their head off. I stand corrected. Kyo. Don't Kyo me. Give me their name, Shigeru. KyouHaba picked up a cup of water and threw it across the room. Luckily, the cup was plastic as KyouHaba would have freaked out if it were glass. KyouHaba. I will destroy them if I need to. You know what? I'll destroy them either way. KyouHaba. Listen please. The shake in KyouHaba's voice caused the spiker to stop what he was doing. Slowly walking towards KyouHaba, KyouHaba brought his boyfriend's hands to his face. After rubbing his cheeks, KyouHaba saw how the purple smudged onto his hand. Ceci. I'm fine, Kyo. I'm sorry. Don't be. KyouHaba bit down on his lip to make it stop trembling. I'm sorry for yelling and everything. I'm so lucky to have a boyfriend who loves me so much. Don't scare me like that ever again, okay Shigeru? Okay. KyouHaba wrapped the setter in a warm embrace, cursing his eyes that were watering. KyouHaba placed his face into the spiker's shoulder, silently appreciating how lucky he was. It's super hot in here. Can I turn off the heater? Haha, go ahead. I'll go clean up the puddle of water. SakuAtsu. I look so ugly. Atsumu scrunched his nose up in disgust while looking at himself in the mirror. Is this what it feels like to be Osamu? Atsumu's mouth curled into a smile as he let out a low laugh. Sakusa was gonna come over for movie night and Atsumu was a bit curious to see his reaction. After all, he knew his boyfriend was quite protective. Atsumu. Your Omi is here. Don't call him that. Whatever. Osamu flew out the door as he and Suna were meeting up at the nearby park. Atsumu zipped up a blue jacket and pulled the hood over his head before walking downstairs. Sakusa entered the house and set down a bag of snacks on a nearby table. Atsumu took a long breath as he walked into the living room. Hey, Atsu. Hello, Omi. Sakusa gave Atsumu a quick peck on the cheek before beginning to unload the snack bag. Atsumu watched from behind, just happy that Sakusa was there. Inside the bag was packets of Pocky, soda, chips, and a couple of DVDs Sakusa had picked out himself. He's so cute and caring. Thanks. You're cute and caring too. Oh, did I say that out loud? Hee. Atsumu and Sakusa didn't exactly live near each other, so being able to see Sakusa in person was really the highlight for Atsumu. Instead of seeing his boyfriend over a screen, he could finally see him in real life. I brought a couple of horror movies along with some romance ones so. Sakusa was cut off by two arms that wrapped themselves around his chest and a chin rested on his shoulder. Atsumu had given Sakusa a cute hug from behind. I missed you, Omi-kun. I missed you, a lot, too. Atsumu pressed his forehead onto Sakusa's back, accidentally knocking the hood off his head. Of course, he was too busy appreciating his boyfriend to notice or care. Sakusa smiled a bit to himself, as he did like how clingy Atsumu was. Twisting around, he wrapped his arms around Atsumu, gently stroking his hair. "Oh, you're so adorable." Sakusa put a hand on Atsumu's cheek and lifted his chin up gently. He was gonna go in for a kiss, but shoved Atsumu backwards after seeing the bruises on his face in shock. It took Atsumu a second after to also realize that his hood was no longer on his head. Crap. Atsu, wow. What happened? Sakusa squeezed his eyes closed as his fists clenched. He took in a couple of breaths to try to stop himself from exploding with anger. Omi? All Sakusa could see was red. Someone hurt Atsumu. Someone hurt the love of his life. Someone thought that what they did was okay. And that someone was about to be crushed. Who did it, Atsu? You can tell me. Omi. Who? This is not okay, Atsumu. Whoever did this. Sakusa gestured to Atsumu's face. Is gonna have a nice little chat with me. Sakusa tried to put on a genuine smile, but his hands were trembling in anger and the red in his eyes said otherwise. Okay, calm down. Calm down. You want me to calm down, Atsu? Some jerk has the nerve to beat you up and you want me to calm down? Well, how funny. Unrelated question, does your brother have a spare baseball bat? Sakusa. It's just a prank. Please calm down. Atsumu hurriedly grabbed a wet cloth and rubbed it over his face, and after he set it down, the purple was gone. Sakusa felt his heart going at 1,000 miles per hour as he stumbled towards Atsumu. He was still in shock as he wrapped Atsumu in a giant hug and kissed his cheek. Atsu, never do that again. I know. I'm sorry, Omi. Sakusa gave Atsumu a long kiss on the lips before placing his head on his boyfriend's chest. Hee, you were gonna kill whoever beat me up, huh? Yeah. I guess we are both Sangwoo. Wait. What? SemiShira. I really hope Semi doesn't freak out. The clock neared 4 p.m., which was Semi and Shirabu's usual FaceTime time. Although they lived relatively close to each other, their families were always busy people that roped them into doing many things. For example, Semi was supposed to attend a party hosted by his mother's friend, so him and Shirabu couldn't hang out in person. Semi's parents couldn't drive him there, and even though Semi had already gotten his license, his family didn't trust him to drive alone. So instead, they called one of their friends to drive him to the party. Semi looked out the car window, quite bored when his phone began to buzz. Incoming FaceTime call from Shira Bear Red Heart. While Semi smiled at the notification, Shirabu put on a small hoodie. He made sure the bruises were only slightly visible, so Semi could see them, but not clearly. Hey, Shirababe. How many times do I need to tell you not to call me that? Oh, you know you like it. Shirabu had already thought through the challenge quite well. Because Semi wasn't actually there in person, it would be a bit more difficult, but the younger boy already devised a plan. At a certain time during the call, he would turn his head to the side, pretending he was getting called by his mother. That would reveal all the bruises for about a moment before he turned back. In reality, he was home alone. Currently, Shirabu had his head in a position where Semi couldn't clearly see the sides of his face. How are you, darling? Good, I guess. Shirabu slightly frowned at the screen. I wish we could hang out today. Yeah, me too. Too bad my mum is dragging me to this stupid party. Why do you even have to go? While Semi began to rant about his family, the younger boy slowly began to count the seconds in his head. 16, 17, 18. As soon as the number hit 30, he would turn the side of his face, revealing the purple spots on his face. 29, 30. Shirabu pretended to hear something from his mom, and he turned to the side to reply. Okay mom. I'll do it later. With a smile, he turned back to Semi, who had a stunned look on his face. The older boy's face didn't move, so for a second, Shirabu actually thought his screen froze. But Semi's stern voice said otherwise. Shirabu, what happened to your face? What? There are bruises on your face. What hap? Semi's face twisted in anger and his screen shook the tiniest bit. Who did this to you? Nervously, Shirabu tried to casually put his hands over his cheeks, but he knew that wouldn't work. But he still tried it anyway. What are you talking about, Semi? Really? This is what we're doing now? The FaceTime call disconnected and Shirabu looked at his phone in shock. Is he mad at me now? Oh geez, did I mess up? Ugh, this is why I never do pranks. Shirabu flopped on his bed and silently wallowed in his sorrows. After a couple minutes, a frantic knock sounded at the door. Lifting his head up ever so slightly, he raised an eyebrow. Mom? Are you home already? No, it's Semi. Shirabu sprung out of bed after hearing Semi's voice. He raced downstairs, almost tripping, and opened the door to see his boyfriend. He was soaking wet, due to the rain outside, and his whole body was trembling. Ita. Kinjiro. Come in. I'll grab you a blanket or something. Semi sat down onto the couch while Shirabu scouted for all the blankets in the entire house. After returning with 11 fluffy blankets, he quickly piled them on top of the older boy. Are you crazy? You could have caught a cold, idiot. I just wanted to know who hurt my baby. His baby. He's too cute, I can't even. Baby, I'm sorry. Look. Shirabu quickly wiped off the purple smudge off his face, revealing his normal skin. Semi's eyebrows furrowed and he tilted his head, waiting for Shirabu to explain. It was a stupid prank. I'm sorry. Semi pursed his lips before laughing. What's so funny? I just never thought you would actually pull off a prank. Excuse me? I was gonna shower you with hugs and kisses, but now I'm not too sure. Semi pouted. I ran a mile to see you. I don't know about you, but I think I deserved hugs and kisses. Fine. Shirabu brought his lips to Semi's before flinging his arms around him. Wait, what about the party thing? Oh right. What the hell? I'd rather spend my time with you anyway. That was cheesy. But you love that, Shirababe. Well, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed. Love you all and have a great day.